it's Betsy, and today I have a fun video. We are going to be testing out the new Natasha Denona Glam face palette in Deep. Now, there are two shades. There was a light version and a deep version. I picked up the deep version because I felt like the light was a little bit too light for my liking. So this retails for $59. This is already available at Sephora. So right now VIB is going on. I'm not sure what levels it's at, but you can save some money purchasing this from Sephora right now. And I honestly bought it mainly for the cheek duo. I love Natasha Denona's cream blushes and cream highlighters, and typically the cheek duos are, for a full size, is around $42. And then also her cheek palettes that have the 4 shades are typically $55. And the eyeshadows that are in here are the midi size, which, you know, a mini eyeshadow that has 5 shades is $25. So I don't feel like even at the $59 price tag, it is a bad value for the money. And as you can see, I've actually used the blush and highlight quite a bit since it came in because it's so gorgeous. So we're gonna start off by swatching, and then we're gonna get into testing it out. Now, I did swatch some of the eyeshadows too, but first up we have the cream blush, and I was really excited for this because, see, that is more of like a neutrally terracotta color. And then we also have the Star Glow highlight. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely stunning. And then for eyeshadows, we have the Outer Corner. I don't know why she names things like that. I wish she wouldn't. So there's Outer Corner. And these are some really good shimmers from Natasha Denona. I will say that. I was shocked because, like, I mean, look how reflective that is. It's so pretty. So then we have Transition, which is more of a neutrally lighter brown. We have the Smoke shade, which is a very deep purplish brown. The Inner Corner, that is gorgeous, which is like a beautiful, beautiful, almost, I can't say if that's, it's not really a rose gold, but it does have a little bit of pink to it. So the first shimmer is more of a copper / bronze. But you see how that has more of that duochrome look, so whenever I change my hand, it definitely shifts the colors. And then last but not least is the Crease shade. So that is the whole palette swatched out. I am excited. This is just a basic neutral palette. Let's not like try to say it's anything revolutionary. It's not. It's a basic neutral 5-pan palette. But as I said, what stands out to me from Natasha is I really love her cream blushes. And I have the Love palette, I have the Love Cheek Duo, I have the In Bloom palette, I have the Tan palette, I have the Bronze palette. So I have several of her cheek palettes because I love the formula. The only cheek palettes I don't have from Natasha are the Mini Minis and the, what was it? The big 6-pan blushes, because the highlighters in there like weren't something that really spoke to me. So I'm gonna grab, this is a ColourPop E15, which is just a big blending brush, and we're gonna start off and go into the Transition shade. Now, I will say this one thing that does annoy me is where this little thing is to grab it to lift it. I have accidentally dug my nail into that already. So we're gonna start off with the Transition shade. And this is probably going to be a very simple, quick, easy look because, I mean, it's 5 colors. We're not looking at a whole lot of options when it comes to this. I mean, you could easily change up how you do your shimmers and all that, but I mean, it's 5 eyeshadows. There are only so many things you can do with 5 eyeshadows. I say that, but I mean, I'm sure that there are some people that I know that are super creative that they could do some crazy looks with 5 eyeshadows. But I mean, we're also talking a more neutral palette, so that does make a difference. Okay, so as you can see, that Transition shade is a beautiful, warm, neutral shade. There we go. And I'm just blending that into the crease. Not bringing it in completely, but I am kind of bringing it in and softening it up by continuing to blend it out. Because you can easily build up Natasha shadows, I will say that. And you can also sheer them out. That is something that I love about Natasha Denona mattes. Same kind of thing that goes with Pat McGrath, is I feel like you can get a lot of variation in one matte or two mattes versus some of the other brands. It does feel like you kind of have to work to be able to get any kind of variation. Like you're gonna have to use several shadows to get the same look that you will get from Natasha Denona or Pat McGrath. And I mean, I know that they're luxury and they are expensive, but they do sales quite often. Pat McGrath does 30% off sales on the regular, so that's not terrible, just to let you know. And Natasha typically has amazing Black Friday sales, and they're both sold at Sephora, so when Sephora VIB spring or fall comes around, you can also use that. So now I'm gonna grab, this is a Spectrum B05, so it's a little bit smaller blending brush, and I'm gonna go into the crease shade, which is a little bit darker, and we're going to blend that more towards the outer edge. Isn't that beautiful? Like, you can see how easy these are to blend. Again, for the Natasha Denona price point, I do expect amazing things from her shadows, and for the most part, they are. Where I have issue, like with Natasha Denona shadows, is typically I'm not the most fond of her shimmers, but these are gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I always feel like for Natasha Denona, for her shimmers, they are lacking, in my opinion, for what I like from a shimmer. But I have singles that are super special shimmers, and I can grab those to have great performing mattes. And as I said, I really haven't had any issues with any of my Natasha Denona mattes. So as you can see, I'm just kind of going back and forth, building it up. I don't know how people can do one eye look on one eye and then go back and try to create the same thing on the other eye. Like, I can't do that. I can't do that at all. So that's what it looks like so far. I'm gonna grab that first brush again and just kind of go over the edge just to make sure everything's soft and blended. I always prefer, and I've said this so many times, I love a good blended eye. That is something, I don't want anything too harsh, other than where I use the tape, because I do want it to be a little harsh there. So now I've got a ColourPop E19, which is even a smaller blending brush, and we're gonna go into that deepest shade, the smoke shade. There we go. And we're gonna apply that in the outer V, keeping it lower, but adding some depth. Because you can see what I mean about adding depth. It really does make a difference. And one thing I do recommend is blending while your eyes are closed, but then also checking to see what it looks like when they're open, especially if you have older, I don't want to say old eyes, but older eyes, because, you know, my eyes aren't spring chickens. The skin is not as tight as it once was. So when my hood is down, I want to make sure you can still see that shadow above the hood. That's why double checking what it looks like when your eyes are open and what they look like when they're closed. Because most of us put on our makeup when they're closed, but I typically don't. I'm blind in one eye though. Not completely, but enough where I have no depth perception. Yay. Anyways, I've been excited to use this. This is one of the purchases I made in November. So I got this, and then I got the Melt collection. That's the only things that have really interested me. There's the Sephora sale going on, and I haven't even looked at purchasing anything. So that's what that looks like so far. So I'm gonna grab my NYX glitter glue, And I think I'm going to use the highlight from this in my inner corner. I don't think I want to use the inner corner shade. I feel like that is a little deep for my liking for an inner corner, but I'll probably use the highlighter from here as an inner corner. So what I'm going to do is apply the glitter glue all over the lid and put the darker shimmer towards the outer V and then the lighter one towards the front. I do enjoy having some depth in my shimmers, like using one for the back half and one for the front. I do think that it helps add a little bit more dimension. Okay, so I'm going to take my brush and go into the outer corner shade, which is that coppery bronze. That's beautiful, isn't it? Like, that is gorgeous. Okay, let's do the same thing on the other eye. Like, that is a good shimmer. And I am trying to blend a little slower so that way I'm using the autofocus so it doesn't completely go out of focus while I'm doing this. Okie dokie, so there is the first shimmer. I'm gonna wipe, I have a makeup wipe here from wiping swatches. And then I'm gonna go into the inner corner shade and pick that back. There was a train coming. So we're gonna finish putting the inner corner shade on the front part of this eyelid. I really love this color story. Even though it's neutral, I love how dark it is. As I said, whenever I was looking at the lighter version, one, I didn't really care for the blush color, but I also felt like a lot of the lighter shades were not deep enough for what I like. As you know, if you've watched me for a while, I love a deep, grungy eye look like this. So there are the tops of my eyes done. I'm gonna go off camera, do the rest of my face. We'll come back, do the blush and highlight and lower lash line, and we'll talk about my thoughts on this palette. So I'm back and I have the rest of my face on. I used the Natasha Denona Tan palette for my bronzer today. As you can see, this baby is well loved. And you see what I'm saying? Like, this is the $55 palette, and the shades in the new Glam are bigger. Then I used in my waterline the bronze eye pencil by Patrick Ta, and on my lips is the Lipforia in caramel from Natasha. So we're gonna go ahead and finish out the eyes, and then we will do the cheeks. So I'm gonna grab, this is a BK Beauty 204, and I'm going to go into the smoke shade, which is the darkest color, and we're gonna put that all under the lower lash line, because I love a good smoky eye. And plus, you can tell on this camera, my under eyes, everything about my skin since upping my dose of my medicine has been like so dry, it's not even funny. So yeah, I'm gonna take that same ColourPop brush. This is the E19 that had the smoke shade, the darkest shade, and I'm going to just go in and blend it out further. But yeah, ever since I started the newer dose of medicine, my skin has been dry, dry, dry. And to me, it's even more important now to make my eyes look like Uncle Fester. But if you notice how red they are, is because I shoved my eyeliner pencil into my eye socket. So I like that. So I am going to take the slightly lighter shade, which I think is the crease, and go ahead and blend that out further. So you see what I'm saying, how that just really, like, my skin looks, I think looks good, especially for how dry it is, but I really like how the eyes look in general. So now I'm going to take the Rephr number 3. I have several of these. This little pencil brush, and we're going to go into the Star Glow, and we're going to use that as our inner corner. I'm also, for foundation today, I am wearing the Natasha Denona Foundation X. It is a great, great foundation, just in case you're wondering. And it's always funny to me because I do feel like Natasha has some amazingly impactful highlighters, but for her typical for her like shimmer eyeshadows are always a little lackluster in my opinion. So I always find that to be funny because it's like, oh, you can do glowy, it's just the shimmers aren't glowy enough. But this time they are. So that's what the eyes look like done, which I think you could pretty much stop here. But we're gonna take, this is a BH Cosmetics sponge, and we're gonna go into the cream blush. It is a clean sponge. It doesn't look that way because it's stained. That's a problem with light colored sponges. It's like, why do they have to look stained? So as you can see, and I did powder my face with the Hourglass powder because I'm trying to use it up, and you can see that that cream doesn't disrupt the foundation or the powders because the bronzer is a powder as well. But you see how that gives that perfect amount of flush, what I like as far as the flush goes. So, and you can see that it's easily buildable. I am a neutral kind of blush girl. Like, I want something that isn't too pink. I really don't like a pink blush on me. Like, hardly any shade. Every once in a while, depending on the look, I need a pink blush. But for the most part, I want a nudie kind of blush and a nudie kind of lip. And then more impact on the eyes. But as you can see, that's what it looks like. Now I'm gonna use the pointy tip and go into the Star Powder, which is the highlight, and we're going to apply that, see, to the tops of the cheekbones. Isn't that beautiful? See the glow? Everywhere else that I apply highlight, down the bridge of my nose, upper lip, and a little bit above the eyebrows. But I blend the highlight that goes above my eyebrows out quite a bit, and then I will typically go over like with my foundation sponge just to make sure it's not too shiny, because part of the thing is once you start having, like, my skin is dry so the texture's showing more. Once that starts happening, it's like, oh. So I'm going to take that same highlight shade onto the Rephr 03 and bring that down below the brow bone. Isn't that pretty? And then we're going to do the same thing on the other eye. I love this look. I love this palette. I think it is phenomenal. Now, I can't tell you about the light version because, again, that is not something that I would purchase because I didn't feel like it has enough depth. And I've got so many light shades from Natasha from all the other palettes that it was like, if I'm going to buy this, I wanted to buy which one that I love the blush and highlight from. So this is the completed look. I think it's gorgeous. And if you are in the market for it, I do think it's worth it. Now, do you need to purchase it? Probably not. I mean, unless you are in the market for blushes, but I do think it's a great value and I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So if you like this video, don't forget it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button right down below. And if you hit the notification bell icon next to it, that will notify you when I post new videos, which is typically Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with some bonus content thrown in. Now, I have missed quite a few posting lately. My health hasn't been the best. I do have videos on that if you're interested, but I guess that's it. So we shall see y'all later. Bye.